Many people believe the world's great monuments could not have been built by ancient humans alone. From Graham Hancock's lost civilization theories to the ancient astronaut hypothesis, these ideas seem to offer answers. But what they really reveal is how easily our minds fall for the illusion of hidden truths. Why do these ideas grip us so tightly? Because they speak to our deepest longings, for wonder, for mystery, for the sense that we are part of a grand cosmic story. They tell us that the world is more than what it seems, that powerful secrets lie just beneath the surface if only we are brave enough to see them. But here's the thing. The universe is more than what it seems. Reality itself, the story told by geology, archaeology, astronomy, and biology, is far more complex, more astonishing, and more beautiful than any of these myths. We don't need lost civilizations or ancient astronauts to find awe. We need only to open our eyes to what evidence, real, tested, hard-won evidence, tells us. Let's look at one of the most popular claims, the idea of a lost advanced civilization that was wiped out by a cataclysm thousands of years ago. At first glance, it sounds plausible. After all, history is full of lost cultures, the Maya, the Indus Valley, the people of Çatalhöyük. But what Graham Hancock and others suggest is something different. A single, global, highly advanced culture, with technology and knowledge that rivals or surpasses our own, destroyed by disaster and erased from history. If this were true, it would change everything we know about the human past. But to accept it, we would expect clear signs. Shared language routes across continents, common technologies appearing simultaneously in distant places, remains of cities and tools that defy the capabilities of known ancient cultures. Instead, we find the opposite. We see independent development, pyramids built by different people, in different ways for different reasons. We see local ingenuity, not global conspiracy. So why do so many find Hancock's ideas persuasive? Because they appeal to a powerful psychological bias, the belief that what is hidden must be important, and that we are among the special few smart enough to see it. This same pattern drives belief in ancient astronauts. Instead of giving credit to the astonishing creativity of ancient people, it hands the achievements of our ancestors over to extraterrestrials. Why? Because it's easier for our brains to imagine a single magical cause than to grapple with the slow, brilliant, difficult work of human hands. And it drives flat Earth belief, too. The idea that everyone else is fooled and you alone see the truth is deeply seductive. It gives identity, purpose, and a sense of control, but it closes the door to actual understanding. What these ideas have in common is not evidence, because the evidence is overwhelmingly against them. What they have in common is a feeling that the world must be simpler than it is, or that someone must be keeping secrets from us. But reality has no hidden masters. Just as no aliens built our monuments, no ancient super-civilization left behind a global legacy. What we have instead is even more inspiring. The story of countless human cultures, each solving problems in their own way, each leaving behind traces of their struggle, their brilliance, and their dreams. If we want to find wonder, we don't need to invent new myths that pretend to be history or science. Instead, we need to understand the myths we already have, for what they truly were. Not failed science, but powerful poetry. Not secret histories, but the deep dreams of our ancestors. For thousands of years, humans have told stories about gods, heroes, lost worlds, and cosmic battles. These myths weren't attempts to map the stars with precision or measure the age of the Earth. They were ways to explore the human condition, our fears, our hopes, our struggles with life and death. Myths are symbol language for spiritual truths, for inner journeys, for the quest for meaning in a mysterious world. The problem isn't that we have myths. The problem comes when we freeze those myths in time and mistake their poetry for literal history or science. When creation stories are treated as geology textbooks, when myths of golden ages are reimagined as lost super-civilizations, when symbolic journeys are turned into claims of alien visitors or flat Earth conspiracies. Science and myth don't need to be at war. Science is how we explore the outer world, with tools, evidence, and reason. Myth is how we explore the inner world, with imagination, metaphor, and story. Both are vital. Both offer wonder, but they speak different languages. Confusing them doesn't enrich our understanding. It blinds us to what both have to offer. So let's honor our myths for what they truly are, the first language of meaning, And let's honor science for what it is, the clearest way we have to test what is true in the physical world. When we see both clearly, we don't need conspiracy theories. We have something better, the real, astonishing universe, and the rich inner world of human imagination that helps us find our place in it. And this brings us to something at the heart of so many modern conspiracy theories, something that runs deeper than Atlantis, deeper than aliens, deeper even than flat Earth. It's the legacy of taking myth, not as poetry or symbol, but as literal fact. And nowhere is this shift more powerful or more destructive than in the history of Christianity. The earliest Christians, like many ancient spiritual seekers, understood their sacred stories as rich metaphors. The death and resurrection of Jesus wasn't just about one man in history. It was a cosmic drama, a map of the inner journey, a story of the death of the ego and the birth of a higher, more compassionate self. The Garden of Eden wasn't just a place. It was a symbol of innocence, of separation, of the human condition. But over time, this spiritual poetry was frozen into dogma. As Rome took hold of Christianity and molded it into a tool of imperial power, the mythic language of metaphor was recast as literal truth. Eden became a real garden planted by God in a specific place and time. The flood became a historical event meant to explain geology. The resurrection became not a universal symbol, but a single miraculous fact that must be believed or else. And in that shift, the door was opened for confusion, for people to start mistaking ancient metaphors for failed science, and then to build entire alternative histories and conspiracies on top of that misunderstanding. Many of the modern fringe theories trace their roots to this literalist lens. If you believe the Earth must be young because the Bible's timeline demands it, then geology and astronomy become a threat, unless you can explain them away with conspiracy or pseudoscience. If you believe ancient stories of giants or great floods describe physical history rather than mythic truth, then you may begin looking for lost civilizations or hidden technologies that simply never existed. If you believe the world is ruled by hidden forces, because the myths of light versus darkness were made literal, then global conspiracies feel like the logical answer. The tragedy is that in clinging to literalism, we lose both the true meaning of the myths and the clarity of science. We end up defending neither the soul's wisdom nor the mind's reason. We end up trapped, caught between frozen stories and distorted facts, chasing secrets that were never hidden and missing the wonder that was always right in front of us. If we want to free ourselves from this trap, we have to learn to see the difference between symbol and fact, between inner truth and outer reality. We have to let the myths be what they are, guides for the spirit, not maps of the physical world. And we have to let science do its work, uncovering, slowly and carefully, the astonishing story of the universe we actually live in. Once we've been trained to see the world through the lens of literalism, or through the frame of hidden truths and conspiracies, something profound happens to the way we handle evidence. We no longer approach facts as clues to discover reality. We approach facts as challenges to our beliefs, and we begin to reshape, distort, or reject them in order to protect the story we've already chosen to believe. This is one of the most powerful and dangerous traps of the human mind. When we look at the world, we don't see it as it is. We see it as we expect it to be. Our brains are pattern-making machines. Once a story takes root, whether it's the story of a young Earth, a lost civilization, a flat Earth, or a hidden alien influence, that story becomes the filter through which all new information must pass. If we believe in a global flood, then the layers of sediment in the Earth aren't evidence of deep time and slow change. They must be proof of that flood. If we believe ancient monuments were built with lost high technology, then every unexplained mark or massive stone becomes proof of that technology, no matter how well archaeologists can demonstrate the real methods. If we believe the Earth is flat, then photographs of our round planet aren't evidence. They're fakes. Lies. Part of the plot. And as this pattern hardens, evidence itself becomes the enemy. We start by interpreting evidence through the lens of the myth. But when the evidence stubbornly refuses to fit, we take the next step. We reject the evidence altogether. The scientists must be lying. The institutions must be corrupt. The data must be fake. And here's the tragedy. This rejection of evidence doesn't bring us closer to truth. It cuts us off from it. It traps us in a hall of mirrors where we only see the reflections of our own expectations, where every contradiction is seen as further proof of the conspiracy, where doubt about the story becomes unthinkable, because to doubt would be to step into the unknown. But the unknown isn't the enemy. The unknown is where discovery happens. The unknown is what science explores, patiently, humbly, without needing to invent grand plots or lost worlds. To escape the trap of skewed perception, we don't need to abandon wonder. We need to redirect it, to turn our curiosity outward again, to let go of the need for the world to fit our stories, and instead let our stories evolve as we learn more about the world. Because in the end, reality is bigger, stranger, and more beautiful than any myth we can freeze into dogma, or any conspiracy we can dream up to replace it.